It was good because it was so bad.
Good because it was so. Dude, I have 2 movies like that.
What?
Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, that one's good though. No.
I didn't even finish it. It was that bad.
This is just so irrelevant.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Irrelevant Podcast. Here with JC. It's late on a Saturday night, as usual, as we do best. But we got a fun topic today.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this one, actually.
I think we should just hop right into it because I know it's going to be a great conversation. We wanted to talk about TV shows, things we like, things we don't like, our lists of our favorite TV shows, because I know a lot of you guys have opinions about TV shows out there. I know JC's got his own strong opinions about his favorite shows.
What I live for, man.
Dude, you literally said you get it tattooed on your body. So that says something about how you feel about some of these shows.
Well, yeah, this has been an episode we want to do for a while because it's just easy to talk about, first of all.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be a shorter one, a little bit.
Yeah,
but it's a good one because I love talking about like what I like hearing what other people like too, because my stuff varies a lot from I'm sure what yours are. So I guess you want to just like, what's the question you want to start out with? Is it just what do we watch, or
I mean, TV? So I actually keep a list.
Oh, you keep a list of best TV shows?
It's an Excel spreadsheet.
Oh my God.
All the shows I've watched.
I need to do that. That sounds sick.
Because people will be like, oh, what's your favorite show? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I got to really think about this, I guess. So I started putting them together because I haven't watched that many shows. Yeah. I have,
What? So is this everything you've watched from worst to best?
Yeah, best to worst.
So do you even have, you have like the ones you don't like on there?
Yeah, like my worst rated one that I've seen, and this is in like the last 3 years, because I've seen other shows, but I don't remember, and whatever. Love is Blind is my worst show.
Never seen it.
Don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your time. It's a Netflix show. It's like a reality romance. They go into 2 different rooms and they can talk through this wall, but they can't see each other. So they basically date with it. It's like blind dating.
Oh.
They get this, but they have to like, the way that they get out of the rooms, they have to propose to each other.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So they're like talking in these rooms for weeks, like speed dating without seeing each other. They can have conversations. And they're like crying.
Are they kind of like in like quarantine? Kind of?
No, this is before quarantine, I think.
Okay.
But they're literally in different rooms and they can't see each other. They can only hear each other. And so they date by hearing each other. And then to get out of the rooms, they have to propose. Like they have to be ready to propose. They have to ask. I'm pretty sure I could be forgetting a little bit, but I'm pretty sure you have to propose. It's like, what the is going on?
I mean,
I rated it a 4 out of 10. I mean, it was bad.
He's like, hey, there's something here. I can.
I think a lot of people actually have watched. I mean, maybe our audience hasn't, but like, Jess wanted to watch it, I think, and it was bad. It was just bad.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like people always say like, well, if you really love the person's personality, that's going to be the main thing. But at the end of the day, you got to see what they look like.
It was a social experiment, more or less. So they get out and then they get to actually hang with each other and like, do stuff together.
Have a picnic or something.
Yeah, like dates and whatnot. Yeah. But then all the other couples start getting infiltrated too. And then there's like, because like there's certain couples that matched up based on their personalities that clearly did not like each other look-wise. Yeah. And you could tell immediately.
And like, oh.
But they liked other guys that were there. And so it got like chaotic. It got bad. And in a reality show, that's what you want, but I just thought it was trash. But that's my worst one.
Wow. Worst show for me. I'm trying to think of worst show for me. Man, the thing is, I'm pretty good at picking shows in terms of how I like them. Like I don't really watch a lot of things I really don't like. Oh, I'll give you one. This is not TV, it's more movie, but okay. Let's let this one pass. I watched have you ever heard of the series Cabin Fever?
No.
Like the movies?
Nope.
It's about like kind of like a zombie thing, like kind of horror.
Okay.
And okay. So here's the thing. I think there is absolutely something to be said about movies and TV are so bad that they're good.
Give me one. Give me one.
Cabin Fever, Patient Zero. That is the one.
It just sounds stupid. It just sounds stupid. Patient Zero.
That's because you watch it and you're like, all right, this is called Cabin Fever, Patient Zero. It's about a bunch of people who are on like a boat, like some party boat or something. Doesn't matter. I still think about this movie. It's in my head. Hey, that's a testament. I thought of it as something in my head because they crash on this like island or something. They get there and like people get effed up or whatever, but there's like testings going on at this like island. And it's just like, it's literally just every stereotypical thing happens. Like this guy, he like sees a radio and he's like, there's like an axe in the radio. And he's like, bro, I can get the axe from this radio. And he's like, he grabs it and you can clearly, like it's such a clear prop, like nothing was damaged or anything. And then you have like this other stereotypical stuff where somebody just dies in some horrific way where you're like, okay, you're clearly going to die. And there's like this guy behind this glass thing and he's like, I'm the patient zero.
Bro,
like,
what is happening?
He's like,
is this how the plot actually was? Like just all over the place and like what is going on?
They're just testing on people and there's this one guy who's patient zero. It's not that interesting at all. But the whole time we're watching
you watched the whole thing?
We watched the whole thing. I watched this in college and my one of my roommates, John, shout out to my boy John Smith. What a legend. John Smith was the name, by the way. What a legend. One of my roommates.
Name. Okay. Sorry, John.
But he was just like, dude, I really want to watch something that's bad.
I want to watch Cabin Fever.
I want to watch Cabin Fever, Patience Zero. We sat back on the couch. We watched the whole thing. We're like, it was good because it was so bad.
Good because it was so. Dude, I have two movies like that.
What?
Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, that one's good though. No.
I didn't even finish it. It was that bad.
He's going to hell.
Trash movie. Just absolute trash. God awful.
No.
Spring Breakers is another one. You ever seen Spring Breakers?
Which one is
Hot
that?
garbage. Couldn't finish it either. Like it takes a lot for me to not finish a movie because I get hooked easily. These were
I don't
bad.
think I've seen that one. Let's bring it back to TV. Bring it back to TV.
Okay,
but,
TV.
But
I don't think I've seen any of that TV that's that bad.
I can't think of like a really, really bad TV show that I've seen where I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I'd recommend that to anybody.
Yeah, Love is Blind's one of them. There was another one on Netflix called Maniac. Jonah Hill.
Oh, I heard that's good.
I rated it a 5.
Wow.
I thought I was stoked. It was like Jonah Hill, it was, Emma Stone, I think, and it was Netflix original. I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. I watched the whole thing and I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what is going on? Maybe I just totally missed the concept. But dude, there's like this. I don't want to give away too much, but there's like this machine that has emotions, and it falls in love with one of the doctors that's doing all these experiments on these patients. And it like breaks down emotionally and it like screws up all the patients. It's just like, what do I care? No. I don't know what I just watched. I don't know. It was weird, dude. It was a weird show. And I thought it was just, I don't know. It was bad.
Wow.
I would not recommend.
Okay. Here's my question. Let's throw it this way. What is your favorite genre to watch? We're talking about things we don't like. And the one's like a reality show. That's what got me thinking about it. Do you watch a reality show more than you watch like dramas and stuff? Or
no, I mean, no. My favorite genre is comedy.
Ooh, interesting.
But my favorite TV shows are not comedy. My highest rated TV shows are not comedy, believe it or not.
Okay, so well, let's just say this. You can throw it back to me. We'll throw it to my genre afterwards. But okay, what's the best comedy? If you say The Office, I'm going to freaking kill you, dude. If you say The Office,
we're going to have an issue with this episode, I think. So I'm just looking.
It's only because everyone says that, though.
Well, there's a reason everyone says that. It's like, why is a cliche? Because everyone says it.
Okay, give me something other than The Office, please.
Okay.
Because I want to actually find a new.
So
TV
my
show.
number, yeah. The Office was number one. It was rated at 9.1. 9.1. The second comedy at 8.6, Silicon Valley.
I've heard that's great.
It's phenomenal, but you have to like. I feel like if you don't like tech or startups or that culture or like the jokes behind that stuff, you probably won't really care for it.
That show is about a startup company in Silicon Valley.
Pied Piper. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love that show. I watched it 3 times already.
How many seasons?
It's not that long, like 4 maybe.
And on a good note.
Amazing. Yeah, they're a pretty good note.
Okay.
But it's gold. It's like just gold. If you like tech and comedy, it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny and it's so witty. You got to watch it. If you care about that kind of stuff, I feel highly recommend.
I feel like I'd really like that show.
Yeah, that's right below The Office.
Dang. So what is it about The Office? Okay, let's just say The Office. What is it?
What is there not to say? Like, there's a reason it's so highly loved. It's like, it is. I think the biggest thing in The Office is the characters. The characters are so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Jim and Pam are pretty.
They never
pretty
get
goals.
old. Dwight is probably Dwight's my favorite character. Unreal. Rainn Wilson, unreal in The Office. just so good. But we're not even including movies. So like if I had movies, this would be way different.
Yeah.
But I don't think I can't even think of any other comedies I've watched. Like I'll look through my list here. The next one I have on the list is Dave, Lil Dicky Show.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a comedy. I don't think it's that funny.
Okay, I'm gonna give you 2 comedies right here. Community.
Haven't seen it.
Really?
I should start writing these down. I'm gonna write these down.
Well, write down Community. You would like it, I think.
Okay.
Do you know what it's about?
No.
Okay.
Is it about Community?
I mean, yeah, it's about community college.
Oh.
It's a bunch of people who are way too old for community college.
Oh, this is gonna be great. I'll watch that.
Well, not all of them are too old, but there's some that are really old and some that are, all different ages, and they're basically just a group. Like almost every episode, they're just kind of sitting in their kind of study room and just thinking about something that happened. And that show goes wild and it breaks the fourth wall. And if anybody is like a hardcore fan of Community, they know, like listening to this podcast, they know how good it is. I haven't seen it all the way through, to be fair, but I watched it a lot this year.
Oh, that doesn't say a lot about it.
No, it's just
I couldn't finish it, but it's great.
No. Keep in mind, I'm not somebody who watches comedies really.
Oh, okay.
That's just not my genre as much.
Right.
But I would be so down. Like if M's like, hey, you want to watch Community? I'm like, hell yeah, I do, because it's freaking like.
So what is your genre then?
Drama, by far. Oh, and also like the main character of Community is, I forgot his name. You know him, you know the guy, but he was like an ex-lawyer, so he just thinks he's like, I'm way too good to be here. Like I do not need to be here. So it's just really funny because the dynamic of all the characters are just great.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, one of the Helen and Drake and Josh.
Yeah,
I forgot her name. I apologize, but
Helen.
she's one of the main characters.
I love that you're full of Drake and Josh forever. That's great.
Yeah, dude, Drake and Josh. Speaking of comedies, I feel like that needs to be up there.
Well,
dude.
see, I didn't include like Nickelodeon. Like I didn't even include Big Bang Theory, which I probably should have.
Yeah.
But I watched that religiously for a while. It's good. I mean, it's a quick, witty. That to me, that's not like a super engaging show that I really would binge. It's kind of like I'll throw it on for 25 minutes and it's just an easy watch. But
the other one I had was Community, and then one I watched recently. I'll give you a recent one, and you may find it so stupid, or you might find it really funny. It was called Mythic Quest. Have you heard of this?
Quest?
Yeah.
It's Mythic. This just sounds like a Cabin Fever.
No, it's purposely called that though, because it's a comedy about a video game company.
Okay.
And it's their like World of Warcraft game called Mythic Quest.
Okay.
And it's the guy who was in was it Always Sunny? Or no? Might have been Always Sunny. Dude, again, I'm not really good with names. I'm so bad with like names.
It's fine. It doesn't really matter who's in it to me. I'm not a huge like actor or director.
Yeah.
I care about what the show offers.
But it's like he's like I'm sure is not a representation at all of actual studios, but it's basically just like this weird parody, like mock thing of game development. And there's just some weird stuff that happens in it. And it's only like 8 episodes or something. And it was on Apple TV.
Oh, total? All
and
right.
I watched it and I'm like, this is wildly entertaining. And also I don't know if I should be pissed about this because like I'm going more towards like game development, right?
Yeah, they're like,
and it's just so, I'm sure it's nothing close, right? But like the main guy, he just has like an ego and he wants the game to be perfect. And you have like the engineers who are
just sounds like it could be plausible.
It's kind of like, it's a little bit of like Office vibes, but at a game studio.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
But there's some wild stuff that happens. Like there's some jokes about streamers, jokes about.
All right. I mean, that's in the realm. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Have you seen Rick and Morty?
No, actually I have, but I'm not a huge fan.
Not a huge fan.
I think it's just that type of humor for me. I'm not a fan of.
Have it lower than people would probably
really
would say. I have it as 7.4, which is not bad, but it's definitely not great. As far as comedies go. Do you ever seen Big Mouth?
No, but I know what it is. Yeah, that's not my humor either.
Oh no.
See,
you just don't like humor, do you? He doesn't even like comedy. He's like, comedy's not my genre. I don't like any humor
but I like
ever.
Community. Though.
I don't like Office. I don't like.
I like Community
Big
more.
mouth.
I like Community more than The Office.
Have you seen American Vandal?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Okay.
I don't know if that's a comedy. I think it's probably more a drama.
It's
than
a
comedy, but
mockumentary, right?
yeah. I mean, it's hilarious. It's not like a laugh out loud. This concept is so outrageous that it's funny.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, there's this show on Netflix, right? It's on Netflix.
Yeah, they've had multiple seasons too.
Yeah. I don't know if the second season's good. I've only seen the first.
Second one's good too. It's just not as flashy
Yeah.
as the first one.
The first season, so this is a show called American Vandal. It's a mockumentary, basically kind of like a comedy too, in some weird way. The title of it makes it seem like there's a crime, like a really, really bad crime that happened. And that's what the show is going to be about. The crime, do you want to say what the crime is? It's kind of like the premise of the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, the whole premise of the show is who drew the dicks.
Yeah, somebody like at school drew
Just giant dicks.
all over the teachers' cars in the parking lot, and it's American Vandal.
And they go on like a
vandalize.
full like detective quest to find who drew the dicks.
Yeah, and it's just it takes itself not seriously, but way too seriously at the same time. It's so weird.
Well done.
Yeah, it's
It
really
is
well
really well done. And the second season's similar in ways, and it's also very well done.
Yeah, it's really funny. That first season, I remember watching it just going, what the hell am I watching? Like, why am I interested? Like, why am I intrigued to know actually who did it?
Dude, when I saw, because the reason I found out about it is because Jimmy Tatro is like the star of the show,
Yeah.
and he's previously a YouTuber. When I saw him promoting it, I didn't know if it was a joke that he was making as like just an Instagram joke, or like it was a video he was making, or it was actually a TV show. I didn't believe it was really a TV show until it came out on Netflix, and I was like, oh my God, it's actually a show. And it was a great show.
It was great.
So
It was really good.
Definitely recommend if you haven't seen that. Totally. It's only one season. There's 2 seasons, I think. And they're quick. You can watch them the whole thing in 8 hours.
Yeah. I would love to see more of that too. Like it was.
They ended it when they had that one was like, that wasn't gonna be like a long-term series. Like
Yeah.
it was a finite story, and it was good.
story.
It was a good story
Dude,
as was.
It's the weirdest thing because you watch it and you're like, I'm not going to be interested in knowing who did. I actually really
oh,
wanna know
you
who
really
did it.
want to know.
You're like, who the
I
hell
watched the second season straight through. 4 or 5 hours straight.
Wow.
I had to. Dude, I was like, I have to know. I have to know what because they throw you on it's like a murder mystery essentially.
Yeah.
But they
It's a
really
murder
do it
mystery
well.
about just
About who drew dicks. And the second one's, I'm not going to give it away, but it's funny.
Yeah.
It's similar to that.
That's pretty funny. That one was a really good one. I do agree with you. I love that one. That one was really good. It's a little bit mature.
It's more
rating.
mature. Yeah,
It's a little bit,
I guess so.
There's some raunchy humor.
Yeah,
in there.
I think our audience will take
Yeah.
to it a lot.
But okay, you want to talk about another genre, or do you want to?
I want to know. So you like dramas.
Yeah,
I want to know. I mean, I already know what your favorite show is, and I
and
think
you know my favorite writer
yes.
from the last.
Give me some of your like top. What are some of your top drama shows that you are like? If you haven't seen this, you have to see it
Okay, so
before you go.
if there's any episode, if there's any episode of this show irrelevant to talk about my favorite shows and why, I mean, we talked about it before, but I'm a huge fan of something that makes me want to come back week to week. And I guess that's really any show, but Lost is my number one, which we've talked about for the longest time. And a lot of people think Lost sucks because of the ending, but I think the ending's a masterpiece. Out of any pilot of any TV show, it's the best pilot ever, in my opinion. It's literally called Pilot, and there's a pilot in the pilot. It's great. It's the best pilot of any show, in my opinion.
this guy's out here rating pilots.
It's just, no, seriously.
This pilot beats every other pilot because the show has a pilot in it. So for that reason, it's unarguable.
Well, no, like the pilot is just, when it came out on TV, and I watched it later, obviously. I watched it much later because 2004, I was really young, right? But I watched it in high school. But when you watch that show, Lost is my favorite because that show is essentially, it's a very simple concept. It is people are on a plane. They're coming back from a trip. Most of them are coming back and not going. So that's something interesting too. But they're coming back from Australia to LAX. The plane crashes on an island. That pilot episode of just seeing it happen and seeing that initial, oh my God, we're on it, like we're lost, right? Like this is happening and this is real, and all these characters. And the thing is, the show is not called Lost because they're lost on island. It's actually called Lost because every one of those characters is like deeply, like every one of them has a very deep backstory of some like crap that went down. Like every single one of them is, and it's not really a spoiler. It's just how the show works. Every single one of them has a mystery to them and oh, wait, it might be this guy was in Australia because he was on some secret mission, or something like that. Or this guy was in Australia because he needed to go see his dad that he had a lot of drama with in the past, right? Or anything like that. And the way the show works is essentially it's all these people that are lost on an island. They're trying to survive. And half the episodes are them surviving, and half of the episode, like one episode, is them surviving on the island, discovering new things. And the other half is flashbacks about
learning their backstories.
Maybe days before the flight, maybe years before the flight, could be anything. And it usually parallels really well with what's going on.
Right.
So maybe there's an episode where they're having to make a decision that's really, really tough. Like a life or death decision. And the main character is named Jack, and he's a surgeon. So it might have like a flashback to when he had this really, really deep decision he had to make in surgery, or when he was performing something that, hours and hours of surgery that was insane. And then it like parallels to something that's going on. But it's more deep than that, honestly. It's a lot of really like life questions. But the island itself is weird, and it's not just an island of nothing there. There's weird stuff, like weird stuff. It's very sci-fi and supernatural both. It blends the two a lot. And I just love it because every episode, it keeps you on your feet of, oh my gosh, I want them to go further into the island because there's definitely something there. Like there's something going on here that we don't understand. And like who are these people? Like, why are they there? Like, the people on the flight, like, why are they there? Is there more of a destiny to it all? Like all that kind of stuff is really cool. And the show is very much, sorry, I could rant about the show forever, but
I know.
That's why we're here.
You're good.
But the show is very much about, it's people coming together that are very different, because it's a flight, right? It's always different backgrounds. And it had a very good representation of different cultures for the time. 2004.
Yeah.
You didn't see that too much where, like there's literally two characters in the show who speak Korean, and they can't even talk with the characters.
Yeah.
Like they're like, do y'all need water? And they cannot, it's hard. It's like they have to work together even though they're all from different backgrounds and stuff. And I thought that was amazing too for the time. And the show is really about, though, at its core, it's like, what do you believe in? Do you believe in more science, or do you believe in faith? And why? And what if that's questioned a little bit? And that's the thing that gets me going, because I love thinking about that stuff. Like, is something destiny, or is it just this really, really weird coincidence? Like were they meant to crash there? Were they not meant to crash there? Or like did you might see something in the distance? It's like, was that just my mind playing a trick on me, or was that something actually happening? Because I'm or like maybe I'm dehydrated and I'm seeing things, or maybe not. Like it's a lot of things like that. And you're watching it, you're like, oh God, I don't know what the answer
think a
is.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And that progression of seeing like those characters like in that zone, like it's perfect, man. It's such a good, it's not even really about the survival. It's about them sort of figuring out what they believe in. It's literally just about like what they believe in and like how they're going to, they just progress a lot as characters. It's really cool.
How many times have you seen it?
6 times all the way through.
6.
There's 6 seasons.
When you watched it, I mean, any of the times, do you find yourself binging it, or is it like how do you consume your favorite show? Essentially,
it's changed a lot for me when I watch it now, but originally I binged it a lot.
When you say binge, what are you talking about? Like
4 or 5 episodes at a time.
And they're an hour each?
44 minutes, yeah.
Okay, so you're pulling like 3-4 hours sometimes.
Yeah. When I first was watching it, was insane like that.
Was that every day, or like every couple of days? Or
I think when I was first watching it, it was like every day. I was so hooked because I was very, I mean, originally it was directed by J.J. Abrams, right?
Okay.
And he has this whole thing, and you'd appreciate this. He has this mystery box concept. He literally calls it the mystery box concept, where his whole thing is, I want to keep giving you things that like make you wonder and question. And that's like how every episode in that show operates. You're like, oh, this question's really, really intriguing. And then you get to another episode and it's like, oh, we have solved that question maybe, but now here's another question. You know, it just keeps going and you're like, oh my God, I want to know more. I just want to know more about what's going on in this island and everything. But I watched it pretty heavily at the beginning, but
How many seasons are there?
6. There's 6, but I highly recommend not binging it though, because when it was made, it was in a time where you couldn't do it. You couldn't binge it.
It was a week-to-week thing.
It was a week-to-week thing. And also when you finish the season, it was a long, long time till the next one.
Right.
And like I told Em, like I really want to watch it with Em because it's really, it's a show I really want to show her at some point. And I was just telling her, I'm like, yeah, if we like finish season 1, we're going to wait a little bit because it's just
interesting.
Weird. It's weird to watch it like back to back because it wasn't made with that in mind. That being said, I think it also, some of like there's some like slower parts here or there, and it does help if you do binge it, but you kind of just have to know I almost wish I could put like a guide of like, okay, binge these episodes, then you can be slower here, then binge these because they're kind of more like fluff.
The reason I asked that is because I really think when you're watching some shows, especially like long ones that have seasons and seasons, especially if they intertwine from season to season, like if there's something that happens in season 2 that really matters in 4 or 5.
And Lost is like that,
which I figure a great show usually is.
Yeah.
When you don't watch them within a certain amount of time consistently, I think a lot of those intertwining parts get forgotten or not. Like you don't connect them.
If you just like come back to it after a long time.
Yeah, like if you watch season 1 and then wait a year and then watch season 2, you very likely may not remember important parts. The reason I say that is because my favorite show, can you even guess what it is?
Breaking Bad.
It's Game of Thrones.
Ooh, I was close.
Breaking Bad I have it at 9.3. Game of Thrones, I have a 9.8 only because of season 8. Otherwise, I would have gave it a 10.
Yeah.
That show, I'm not proud to say this, but when I say binge, it's a little bit different than a 3. I watched that show. It's got 7 or 8 seasons, right?
Yeah. They're longer too.
I believe it took me 2 weeks to watch 8 seasons. It was an average of 7 hours a day.
Holy crap.
For 2 weeks straight.
How, bro?
I did that twice. That's binging. 7 hours a day. That's a full-time job. I watched 50 hours a week of this show. Basically, more or less.
How did you have the time to do that?
Dude, I literally do all my stuff during the day at like at 9 p.m. I turn it on and I could not turn it off. I would be up to like 4 a.m. every night watching this thing. Straight up. And then I would get up and do it all again.
Wow.
But it wasn't because I chose. I literally could not stop watching this shit, dude, because it's that good. It's that good.
It was really good.
But the point I wanted to make is that if I watched that like everyone else did, I didn't watch it when it first came out. I only watched it.
You think you might have stopped?
No, I don't know about that, but I think you pick up so much. Mm-hmm. There is so many like that and Breaking Bad both. I think have done a phenomenal. Like the story is so intertwined throughout the whole every season. Like I'm very sure that they wrote a lot of it before they even recorded the first one because they had to have this like connectivity between the shows, between the seasons.
I will say, I don't think you would like Lost as much as Game of Thrones.
Maybe not, but that doesn't mean I want to watch it.
But you would find the themes really cool.
Oh, I think I got to watch Lost. I'm going to put it down on my list.
You got to watch it at some point. It's also a classic that I think a lot of people...
And I think I got to give it a rating compared to these other ones, see where it fits in.
But it also... Lost kind of changed TV when it came out. That's the other thing. Like 2004, and it was... Lost coming out now would be a phenomenon, bro. It would be... Can you imagine every week we find out more about like where the hell these people are and where like... It came out in a very, very different time, and I think it would have been even bigger if it came out now, because like in the same way that like, people are watching like Mandalorian and stuff right now, and they're watching like week by week, and there's that hype of like, oh, okay, what's gonna happen? That was Lost back then, but you didn't have the YouTube videos and the you did a little bit social. You didn't have the social media stuff where people were really talking about what's going on. You didn't have that, and I think it's like a testament how awesome Lost was that it went on that long, and people were so hardcore about it. You can find like some old like threads about stuff like on different websites where people are like talking, or like even like there's one scene, this is not a spoiler, but there's one scene where like this map appears, like where it's sort of like a thing you have to pause the screen to really look at it. And I was thinking when I was watching it, I was like, how do people theorize about the show? How do they take a picture? Like, how do they pause the freaking screen to even see this? Like, you had to catch it. You had to be like, oh, all right, boom, that's it. Nowadays, I'm just like, all right, pause. Let me look at this.
Yeah, or you can go and look it up online on like on YouTube or
look
wherever,
up the wiki,
or like a wiki, like a theory page.
Yeah, and it's so weird to think about, but I genuinely think, and at the time, it was very much like the ensemble cast, a bunch of people that from different backgrounds. Like it was one of the first shows, I think, that really did that super, super well and really brought in this sort of new age of like, there's all these story threads from all these different characters, and they're all, it's all like linking somewhere. Like a lot of shows work the same way that Lost did. Like I notice it, and it's just really weird. Like I watched Lost, I'm like, oh, here's the flashback bit. Here's the character. Like they're kind of like, each episode's kind of character oriented. It's not just, oh, the whole group. There's some episodes maybe like that, but typically even the finales, even the season premieres, they're all about one character at the core. And it can range from Jack, the main character, or 10 different other ones, honestly.
Yeah.
And even more, honestly.
I gotta watch it.
It's just great.
You've spoken highly about it. You would get a tattoo of it, so
I would get a tattoo of the numbers.
I think it would be something that I should invest my time into.
But you might not like the ending. No spoilers.
But based on what you've said, I think I have a guess for the ending, but I'm not going to say anything until I watch it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Have you seen Stranger Things?
I have. I haven't seen season 3. Oh. I've heard it's the best though.
Easily the best.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I haven't seen it for some reason. I love that genre a lot. It's very like
it jumped ahead of The Office for me because of season 3. Season 3 was that good.
Where's it on your list?
Number 3.
Wow.
So I have it: Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Stranger Things.
I like that you said Breaking Bad. I've seen all of Breaking Bad. I would put Breaking Bad on my top 5.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what would you say is your top 5?
Lost is number 1. I would say Breaking Bad might be number like 3 or 4.
Okay.
This
is why I wrote it down.
It's really hard. It sounds crazy, but my top ones, I think, are all Damon Lindelof written shows.
Cabin Fever?
No. Cabin Fever? Patient Zero? No. So Damon Lindelof wrote Lost. He sort of took over, like him and JJ worked on it from the beginning, but he took over, like mostly steered the ship after JJ left. I think it's JJ did a lot of Star Trek stuff later and all that kind of stuff. He wrote 2 shows afterwards. He might have wrote more, but really 2 major shows. The Leftovers. I talked to you about that one. It's like people disappear on the planet. Like 2% of the population of the entire world just disappear. Blink of the eye. No idea why. And the premise of that show is very different from Lost. Lost is about, what is the mystery? What is the mystery? What is it? Tell us. The Leftovers, because they got so much flack about Lost of like, wow, you didn't answer everything, right? Mm-hmm. That they just said from the beginning of The Leftovers, we're never going to answer it. We're never going to answer what happened. So the whole premise of the show is, how do you deal with like grief of something you can't answer, which is really interesting. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, a tragedy can happen to somebody in our world right now, right? Tragedies are happening everywhere. But how do you move on when you don't know the damn answer of what happened? Right. It's like,
there's no closure.
You can't almost. It's so hard to have that closure. So that show's really interesting. It's really dark and depressing though. And it's not my favorite because it's so dark and depressing, especially the first season.
But it's your highest rated.
But it's up there. I would say it's like 2. It's like 3, something like that. And the other one's Watchmen. I watched Watchmen recently. Another great show, written by him as well. I'm serious. He's freaking great at writing. He's really good at writing characters. And Watchmen was, you know what Watchmen's about? You might like it. It's kind of like Stranger Things. It takes place in, well, the original Watchmen stuff was like 80s. It was Cold War stuff. But
I gotta watch it.
I would write it down.
Okay, I'm putting it down.
It's pretty dark, but you might like Watchmen. Watchmen's essentially you need to have like a primer though before you watch it of like what the
primer,
like what the what the original comic was about. It was a comic book originally.
Okay,
I think. Yeah, and the original stuff was this Cold War like story and of like heroes. It's very it's like the vibe of The Boys. I'm sure you heard of that too. The Boys, people are watching that. It's like sort of a different take on comic book superheroes and stuff. Watchmen's the same way. But he wrote the show of like what happens in 2020 now from the stuff that happened. The stuff in the comic happened in the 80s or whatever. What about this far into the future? You know, it's not like a retelling of the comic. It's actually just like, hey, let's look in the future and see where that would go. It's really, really interesting. Okay. And there's a lot of, you might not like some of the political social commentary on it, but there's a lot of like, they wear masks in the show and it's super freaking weird watching it because everybody wears masks. And this show came out like a year or two ago. And it's just, you're watching it, you're like, this show is really weird. There's a lot of like police, like police brutality and all that kind of stuff.
Predicted what happened this year.
Oh, dude, it's freaking unreal. It's like it's really good. Like watching it this year, I was like, this is weird, dude. Like this is super weird. There's the whole thing is about like the show is about race. It's good.
I'm gonna have to see that.
It's really good.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
It's really good. If you can like, I know, those are like really touchy subjects for some,
right.
and some people don't want to like think about that stuff.
At the end of the day, if it's a good show and there's good characters and there's a good, story behind it, that's what I care about.
It's got Regina King and she's phenomenal. She's great. But yeah, that's up there. I think, and that's like my Watchmen's up there too. It's one of the best I've watched recently. I don't know if it's I really like it lately. But
Game of Thrones isn't your top 5?
No, not anymore. It's my top 10.
But I can't. Because of season 8?
Yeah. It puts such a damper on it for me.
It really did. It really crushed it.
It puts such a damper on it for me. The thing with like Lost or something,
Do you think Breaking Bad's better than Game of Thrones?
Yes. I would put Breaking Bad, I think it's my second. I think it's Lost and Breaking Bad for me.
Okay, that's fair.
Breaking Bad is phenomenal. If anybody hasn't seen Breaking Bad, the thing with Breaking Bad, I don't think there is a very rare few people that probably think that show ended badly. It ended perfectly.
It ended great. And there's also, have you seen Better Call Saul?
1 or 2 seasons of it, but I need to see.
You need to watch more because I watched the first 2 seasons when they first came out and I was kind of bored, honestly. Like I lost interest in it. I went back and rewatched it, stuck through the first 2. It gets good. It
gets really good.
Because it gets really close to Breaking Bad's starting point.
Yeah.
It's like the prologue. It's like before Breaking Bad, what happened.
Yeah.
So you learn the backstories about a lot of the characters you really care about in Breaking Bad. I'm not going to say who, don't want to ruin anything, but trust me, it's worth watching.
Dude, I'd honestly be up to rewatch Breaking Bad. It's been a while.
I would say watch Better Call Saul first, then Breaking Bad, because it's like, then you get it chronologically, and it's good. It's really good.
That would be really,
people that you don't like in one of the shows, you might love in the other shows because you see them in a different light, and it's like, wow, perspective is everything.
Yeah.
It really blows your mind. So I think that's definitely worth watching. Have you seen Ozark?
I've seen once. No, I haven't. Not all the way, but I saw like 6 episodes. I think I stopped.
I think that's one of my higher rated shows too.
I've heard that's worth really watching. Good.
And it's the last season just ended, and it's still really good. To me, the Game of Thrones thing is like brutal. It's just brutal because it just, dude. How do you feel about a show that was, to me, the top without question for 7 seasons, and then could have been the best of all time in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's just not.
And it just, I don't know where it is now. I don't know how you rank that because
you rank it still highly.
If you just took out the last season, even.
Yeah,
I'd be happier with that. I'd happier never having another season.
It's pretty.
Because they always talk about the long night and like you knew it needed to happen. There's something that like it needed to have closure, but that was not the closure I wanted.
Dude, you couldn't even see it.
I don't even care about that part. Dude, they rushed it. They rushed it.
Yeah.
You have this show that's developed for 7 seasons. The most in-depth character development I've seen in any show that I've watched here, by far. Even more than Breaking Bad.
See, Lost is still higher for me for character development, but yeah.
We'll see how it compares.
Yeah.
Like the amount of time you spend with these characters to learn about them and see their growth and their falls. And then in 6 episodes, you take like 3 seasons worth and cram it in and try to just get through it. Like, what do you no. Brutal, dude. Just ruins it.
Here's my question to you. And maybe we could even, I don't know if this will be the title of this episode or what, but do you think there will ever be a show that grips the entire internet and just pop culture like Game of Thrones did? Where everybody, I mean,
I'm sure at some point, everybody though. That's what I'm saying.
It was like, look, I didn't think Game of Thrones was my favorite show of all time, but trust me, it was in my top 3 by far until the last season. But every single week, bro, we were talking about it all the time with the boys. We were talking about it every single time it happened. If you didn't watch the damn episode, you are spoiled, bro.
You weren't getting talked to.
Like you were like, we're putting you in the corner. We're going to talk about this. Get out of
here. We don't want to talk to you right now because you're not involved.
And then if you hadn't, sometimes when we were all together, like at the Z House or something, it was like, oh, come on. We're watching it right now.
Get in here. Dun, 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 dun.
And everybody was doing that. Like I remember in college too, like just I wore a Daenerys wig watching the episodes. Boy, did that.
Bro, we had a ritual at the Z House. Yeah. Whenever the song would play, the intro song, Jack would come and like just beat us up with a pillow. Like I don't know why. It just became a thing. He did it one time and then every time dun, 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 smacking us with his pillow.
Dude, and so do you think it'll ever happen again?
A show like that?
I'm sure it will happen.
At some point.
But bro, but
it's like asking, I don't even know. That's like such a loaded question. It's like, how do you recreate something that great? Because that took what, 10 to 12 years for all those to come out?
Yeah.
Like who knows if that next show that's that good will come out in our lifetime? I don't know. I hope so. And I hope it's got a better ending than that.
Because I feel like Game of Thrones was the Avengers of TV. You know,
I think it beat out. I think it was higher.
I'm not saying like better than the Avengers or not. I just mean in terms of like how everybody's talking about it.
I would say even more than Avengers.
Really?
Yeah. Dude, I remember when the episode 3 came out, it was a long night, right? Like that was the episode. I remember on Twitter, it doesn't matter who you are, every single tweet was about Game of Thrones. Every single one. Literally every single one for almost a day, I feel like. It was just talking about that.
Yeah.
I think that's where I actually really liked the episode. I loved how it went down. But I hate that they also abandoned, not only did they just destroy the character arcs, they abandoned
so much cool stuff that could have happened.
Well, not even that. They abandoned the realism of the whole show. Like in every other season, if someone needed to die, they showed no mercy. Like that person died.
Yeah.
They didn't care how important the character was, how many people liked the character. Like if that person was dying in the story, they were dying. And there's nothing you can do about it, and they're dead.
That's what made it popular, honestly.
Exactly, because you didn't have the...
Sean
you were never
Bean.
safe. You were never safe. Your character was never safe.
Yeah.
Like anyone could have died at any moment, truly. You get to that one, and everyone survives the night. Tell me how that happens. No freaking way everyone's surviving that shit. At least half of them should have died. They abandoned everything that made the show great all in one season. Pain. Just pain, dude. I still have them number 1 though, because even if I compare those other 7 seasons to every other show here, it's not even close.
Damn.
I'm not staying up 7 hours to watch any of these other shows.
It's true. I think
until I watch Lost.
Dude, the thing is Lost is very old now too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep.
There's some CGI in Lost, especially the first season in 2004, where you'll see something and you're like I could have animated that.
Yeah,
and you're like, whoa. But it's one of those things where you kind of have to just roll with it. But it's great. I think another one for me is I've always thought about The 100. I love that show.
My brother watched that and he said it was great, and then it wasn't.
Bro, I have.
Is it in your top 10?
Oh yeah. It's definitely my top 10. I don't think it's in my top 5 anymore. But in terms of like the show that I rooted for, it was like, I'll put on a damn t-shirt of this and I'm like, please, 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 please keep doing what you're doing. It was that show, dude. I've never seen a show that just didn't belong on the network that it belonged, like that it was on. It just didn't belong there. It needed to be on something bigger. It just needed to be, it was on the CW, the 100. And it's like the only, like when you think of when you think of CW, you think of the superhero, like the DC stuff.
Yeah.
You think of Riverdale, right? Like you think of, like people, there's a market for that. People love it, right? But you don't think of this show that is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi survival show and they had a lot of moments where we're killing a character tonight and you like, I'm sorry, even if this person is a pretty big fan favorite, it's happening, right? There was times in the show where the fandom was genuinely upset because like 3 weeks in a row, bad stuff was happening. It was like, oh, stop. You're trying to be like Game of Thrones. Like you're going too far. Like we want to have happy moments almost.
They tried to copy.
Yeah, but it was really good. That show was about like it was kind of had the Lost vibe of like stranded, right? Like you're stranded in a place you don't know. It was very much inspired by Lost. Like you can see it in the veins of it.
That's why you liked it so much.
Yeah, it was like this. It was like this weird like young adult version of Lost.
Oh my God.
Right?
This guy's like any little granule.
Dude, it was
crumb,
good.
Like crumb of
It was
Lost.
good. It was good. It was like watching.
Give me.
It's Lost with Fallout. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's Lost with Fallout because
Okay.
it's after like a nuke went off all across the world, and it's like
I gotta watch Lost. You've been really, really hype on this show.
Bro.
And you're by these other shows by proxy are your favorites because they're like Lost.
Yes. Like I literally watched Watchmen because I'm like, oh, it's Damon Lindelof. I have to watch this.
Yeah.
And I watched it. I'm like, damn. If you want honestly, I think you'd like Watchmen a lot.
I'm gonna watch a couple of these,
But
and we'll have to reconvene and see who they rank.
the 100 was really good, and dude, the last season, and they clearly like don't have a budget. Like they clearly do not have a budget that they should. That's what like hurts me. And that's why I was always rooting for them because I'm like, I know you don't have the biggest budget in the world. I know you're on the CW. You're not like an HBO show.
Yeah.
You're not on these major, huge networks. But it would be so cool what they could do, even with their budget. It would blow me away. But in the last season, they just made this really wrong writing misstep. Like the writing was really damn good, and I really loved it until the last season. The ending, I'm all right with. I thought it was pretty good. I still cried. I thought it was a good wrap up. But there was an episode like halfway through the last season, they just did something they should not have done. This
is like kind of enticing me to want to watch it.
There's a
like
mistake.
They did something in there that should not have happened, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. But it's bad.
If people watch the show, it's like
Game of Thrones bad. Like
yeah, it was really like
goes
that.
the Mad King, which is fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's literally like the thing of this character would not have done that.
Yeah,
absolutely
That's
no.
that is,
I do not buy that character would have done that, and you can't just gloss over this. Like this, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, you can't just
and
convince me.
Yeah, but it was still good, and I still liked it all the way through for the most part, and it was really fun. And it's always that like fun one because no one watches it that much. So I'm like, yeah, it's my little underrated show.
It's like you're like
it's my guilty.
What is it?
My guilty pleasure.
You're hipster for it. Like, I found it before everyone else did.
Dude, it was, oh my God. Oh, season 2 and 3 of that show. Oh, so freaking good. Genuinely so good. But anyways, yeah, 100's one of them. I'm trying to think of any other like really good drama I've seen that I really, really like. Breaking Bad's up there.
Have you seen Tiger King?
No, I've heard it's great.
It's good. It's in the middle of the list. It's somewhere around Mandalorian. I haven't seen season 2 yet, so I don't really know.
I haven't seen Mandalorian at all. I need to.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. The first season was good, but it was only good because
it's Star
Baby
Wars.
Yoda.
See that my problem was with Mandalorian is
like it was okay otherwise.
I see a lot of people talking about it every week, and it makes me want to like hop in. But the problem I have is I'm just not as much of a fan of Star Wars as I used to be. I don't
think I was ever a huge fan. You ever go back and watch the old Star Wars movies?
Yeah.
They're actually pretty trash, I think.
See,
I'm gonna get so much flack for that, but like,
I
the acting is not good. They are old, to be fair. They are old.
Are you talking about the really old, like the original?
I'm talking about, we watched it in chronological order, yeah.
Damn.
And they are, some of them are, I mean, these were some of them were 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
But it's still not good.
See, I'm a fan of the prequels. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie.
Okay. I've never been a huge Star Wars fan, so
Anakin
like, it's
and Obi-Wan
alright.
fighting for like 15 minutes.
It's great.
Amazing.
It's great.
Yeah.
There's iconic moments, and it's a franchise that it's huge for a reason. But we'll see how the Mando season 2 is. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't really know.
The thing I was going to ask you, this is another thing, bro. Talk about a thing I would love to watch with you, and like just get a group together to watch. Have you ever watched Survivor?
Yes. We used to watch Survivor, me and my family, every single season.
Same.
Literally every season.
When did you stop?
Oh, I don't know. We watched it probably like 10 years.
Oh,
I'm not even kidding. Like a long time. And it's still going. It's still
Yes.
fucking going.
Dude, the last season, I didn't watch it, but it was Winners at War, and it was also Survivor's a reality TV show, everybody. But
it is. And it's good.
But the last season was Winners at War, and it was all winners playing.
Oh, wow.
And so it was like just never been done before season. All these people are good.
I'm down to watch that. I want to put that down.
Dude, I would love, I told him this. I'm like, I watched it with my family forever until I went to college. And then something happened where I just didn't feel like watching it because I was just busy or something.
Yeah.
Making videos.
When our family got busy, we just kind of stopped watching it as a group. And then that was that.
But whenever it comes back, I told Em, I'm like, we're watching this. We're going to make it happen because it is my favorite reality TV show, because I love the dynamic of it. And it's
like
just
Lost.
It doesn't get, it really is. It really isn't. I mean, just because there's an island.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's like Lost, but like, you know,
Well,
they're on an island and they're trying to survive. So I mean, in some way, shape, and form, they are technically
maybe by the island ? But I mean, Survivor with all the social dynamics is really fun. It's really fun to watch. Good. And just rooting for somebody in that show, and you're like, dude, you better freaking win this, bro. I swear. But
it's good. That there's a lot of dynamics to that game. There's the athleticism, the mind games.
Yeah.
It's a good show. And there's a reason it's been going on for, but God, it's got to be like almost 20 years now, probably, right? One of the longer running ones.
Do you have any other shows?
I don't think anything that you would really.
I could talk your head off about my stuff. I could go so far.
Yeah, like I watch a lot of like some sports stuff that you probably wouldn't care about. Have you seen anything like, there's some Netflix shows. Two of them I think are pretty good. Sex Education.
No.
Highly recommend that.
Is it funny? It's a
drama.
Oh.
It might be a drama. It's either comedy or drama. I don't really know. It's good. It's really good. We watched a show called End of the Fucking World. Also Netflix.
Isn't got like,
that one's weird.
It has like asterisks in the name, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Like
their accents are amazing, dude. They're these like hard, like British, Irish, Scottish accents. Oh, so funny.
Oh man, I gotta watch that.
Actually, it's not even a funny show. I don't know, but it's weird. It's a weird show.
What's a show that you really, really like that's like a drama or comedy or whatever, but like for me, like I have The 100, right? Do you have a show like that
that people don't like?
Yeah. Or maybe not they don't like it, but maybe they just don't know about it.
Jess and I watched one recently. It's not Ozark. It's Outer Banks.
Oh.
The story was good. It's pretty new. It's on Netflix as well. The story's good.
Is it done?
That was just the first season. They're going to do another one. The CGI and like the budget was buns, like terrible.
Oh.
But the story was still pretty good. Here's one where we just finished watching again for the second time. Friday Night Lights.
Oh, that's good. That's
a good show.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a lot older now, so I feel like a lot of people watching this might not know what that is or care about it. But it's a good. I think it's a really good show for people like in a relationship to watch, because especially if you like football like I do, like there's a football and sports aspect to it, but there's also like a lot of like emotional and relationship and dynamic, like a character dynamic type stuff where I've cried at that show multiple times. Dead ass. Like I'll be the first to admit it. There's some moments in that show that are really, really make you cry. It's like intense stuff. But it's a good show. It's not great, but it's good.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Should I go there to the other question that I had?
What's the question?
What about anime, Matt?
Oh my God. Anime.
Do you watch anime?
Dude, I've watched some anime.
Because it counts.
But yeah, Pokemon, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I haven't seen it all the way through, and I need to.
That show is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that's saying something.
Have you seen
like a
Korra?
cartoon? Haven't seen Korra. But I don't really watch anime. Like when you think of anime, I don't watch. No,
Dude,
and
honestly,
definitely not recently.
I really need to watch Attack on Titan. It's just the one that everybody talks about all the time. Like, this is the best anime, no question. And for some reason, I just haven't seen it. And it's brutal and stuff too, right? It's. I don't really know much about it other than these giant tall things walking around. That's all I know. But I've heard that show is phenomenal. Haven't seen that. Everybody who's watching this on YouTube, if you can leave comments, what's a really, really good anime to watch?
I feel like I think
it's Attack on Titan.
Hunter X, is that a thing?
That
Hunter
one's good.
X.
That's the one Lex loves. Lex loves that one.
I've heard that one a bunch.
I watched the first season. That one's really good.
Are you Dragon Ball Z kind of guy?
No.
Yeah, me neither. I never got into that.
I watched a little bit of Naruto like when I was younger, but never all the way. It's just too many episodes.
Yeah.
But I watched what's a really good anime I watched recently? Favorite anime I've seen is one called Death Parade.
Okay.
And it was
that sound okay.
just more JC dark and depressing ones.
Yeah, it sounds that way.
But it's like it's an anime where the premise is people, like, when they die, they get judged in this.
I think I've heard about this.
Yeah, they get judged in this sort of like casino bar thing that just looks really cool, and they don't know they're being judged, and it's whether or not they're going to go to in the show it's a reincarnation or the void.
Oh, shit. Okay.
But you, like, every episode,
purgatory.
Yeah, it's like a little purgatory judgment zone.
Mm-hmm.
So they, like, every episode is really dark because people are just coming in, they're kind of like happy, like, I don't really remember where I was earlier. And then it's kind of during it they realize every time, and you're like, oh shoot, like, did they deserve whatever? Like, sometimes they might not get what punishment they deserve too. So it's really cool. I really like that one a lot. Makes you think about life. I love everything that makes you think about life. That's like my thing. I love the life questions. Anything that gives you like a life question of why are we here? What are we doing in this world? And like destiny and all that kind of stuff. Oh, destiny.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Talk about destiny in a show. It makes me just go lost? ? Anyways, but I watched that. I watched, man, that's like the last real anime I've seen. I watched ReZero.
Dude, I don't know any of these.
Dude,
I just don't know anime, dude. I'm not in that scene.
ReZero is about this guy who, again, I'm trying to just give you like really quick ones so we don't like dive in, but it's just about this guy who he's like spawns in a, he's like in this magical world kind of thing. And the whole thing is that he can, again, it's not really a spoiler, it's kind of the whole premise, but like the whole thing is he when he dies, he goes back in time, kind of like Groundhog Day a little bit.
Okay.
So it's like this kid is in this world with like all these magic spells, and it kind of seems kind of great at times, but then gruesome stuff will happen and he's like, oh my God, my head's about to be chopped off. His head gets chopped off and he like reverts back like a day, and he's like, I gotta knock in my head. Or maybe his best friend dies and he's like,
geez, and he's like, this sounds miserable.
And he's like, I gotta die to restart it.
Bro, what? I just feel like anime is supposed to be like fun, action packed, lighthearted. Not
it's just
brutally.
It's like Groundhog Day, but like brutal. It's like brutal Groundhog Day.
Gruesome Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's nuts. But that one was really good. I haven't seen all of season 2 yet, or wherever they stopped in season 2, but I was watching that. But yeah, I'm not like big on anime, but I'm trying to be. I need to watch Attack on Titan.
I'm trying to be big on anime.
Dude, Noah, every single time, he's like, guys, you have to watch Attack on Titan, and you got to watch My Hero Academia. Both of those are really good. But
I've heard those names both when mentioning best animes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
do you have any other shows? I can talk about shows for hours.
I know.
could be here for
We
like
honestly
3 hours.
could. I pretty much went through most of my list.
Yeah.
But I think yours is much more drama based, and it seems to be a lot darker in theme than what I have on my list, more or less.
Oh, I have one for you
Yeah.
before we end it. Did you ever watch The Walking Dead?
No.
Because I think that was kind of the other thing that everybody watched.
Until it got terrible.
Yeah. That was, if there was something.
That was happening the same time Game of Thrones. All throughout college, everyone was watching Game of Thrones and Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Those are the two things, and I didn't watch either of them. Super happy I watched Game of Thrones. Walking Dead, I've seen a couple, and I'm just like,
Dude, so
knowing what I know, that it got, from what I hear, got like really shitty.
Walking Dead did this thing where it was amazing, right?
Yeah.
It was, my God.
Oh my God. You guys can't hear that. You can't hear this in the audio version, but this guy just made a face.
Dude, it
like
was
I've never
so
seen him
good.
make.
People know, like, watching Walking Dead every week and just being scared for your life of who's going to die, right? Or what's going to happen. And it gets so good. And then like around like the 6 to 7 season, honestly, I think 5 was still really good. I think like 5 is like the peak of the show for me. And I stopped watching somewhere in 6 and 7. And somewhere in there, they just lost me. It just got too brutal. Like, kind of just felt like torture, like some episodes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to have, there's been this thing, I think, with Game of Thrones and with Walking Dead, and even my show, like The 100, that I really like, right? Where they try to do these things where we're going to one up the depression. Like, we're going to one up the gruesomeness because we're in the 2020 era or whatever, right? And we're going to do that. We're in the modern day era. We can do that with shows. We can show somebody's head being exploded, right? And it's like, bro, you got to like realize sometimes the best shows that have like the best endings and everything are the happy ones. Like, a happy ending is not bad by any means. I think sometimes the happy endings are the best shows. Sometimes the best episodes of a show are not when everybody died or when this main character died. It's when they pulled off something amazing. And maybe it's a little cliche that they did it, but I don't know. I wish more shows would go the route of not every episode has to be dark and gruesome, because I watch a lot of dark and gruesome shows, but like I just want there to be more,
them to
like,
be happy.
I just want there to be more happy stuff that happens. But The Walking Dead had that problem, I think, where it got too just, why am I watching this week by week only to cry, like only to be upset, you know what I mean? And be mad the next day that my favorite characters are dying.
Is that show over now?
No.
It's still going?
I think it's on its last season or so coming up. But what they did is Rick, they're making like a movie or something out of Rick. And he's like, it's like a spin-off movie.
Kind of like, you've seen the Breaking Bad movie?
No, I need to.
Bro.
I know.
What?
I know. I don't know why I didn't see it.
Okay. Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad movie.
Is the movie better?
The movie's it's okay. It's not great.
Yeah.
But it's good. You get some closure on some things that you didn't know from the movie, from the show.
Yeah.
It's good. It's worth watching.
See, that's what they're kind of doing with Walking Dead, I think. What I've heard The Walking Dead is it was really bad somewhere in the place where I stopped. But Em watches it. She's watched all of it.
Really?
Which is weird because Em isn't really the type of person I would think would watch that.
No.
But she's watched it and she's like, oh, it's really good again now. And I've heard it's like really good again now.
I haven't heard shit about it though. I don't hear anyone talking about it. I don't even know it's still going.
No one's really talking about it.
Well, that says something.
True. But I will say, I feel like the people who watched all the way through, I think it's gotten a little bit better again.
Okay.
So I think it'll probably have a good finale, but
I probably won't watch it.
I probably won't either.
I got a list here. I got a list here that seems like a little bit more promising than Walking Dead, which I've heard literally nothing about.
If there's one takeaway, I think you should watch Community.
I'm gonna watch Community.
You would freaking
I'm
love
going
it.
to.
You would love it,
and we will talk about it again in the podcast,
dude. Oh my god, dude.
But we have gone pretty much over what we said we were going to, which we always do, which is fine. But do you want to do one Q&A question?
Let's do one Q&A.
Okay, so we have one question.
This is kind of different from the TV talk.
This is switching gears here, so just recalibrate everything you're thinking about TV right now. Everything you guys want to say, leave it in the comments below.
I need to make a list of my own because I have it in my head.
You need to.
But
if you haven't made a list yet and you watch a lot of TV,
yeah,
it's worth it. Because then you can clearly see like, oh,
that's why I didn't like.
You know what? This show is better than this one. This one,
yeah.
You can really start to be like, oh, they like there's reasons some are better than others, and that whole thing. All right, from Dank Vacuum. What a name. Topic idea. When do you plan to stop YouTube or Twitch?
When do you plan to stop YouTube
When
or
do you
Twitch?
plan to stop YouTube or Twitch and/or Twitch?
Wow, what a
That is a
finishing move.
simple but deep question.
Oh God.
And I'm going to give ourselves no more than 10 minutes to talk about it.
Okay.
Okay.
You go first.
My answer, when? Wow, that's tough. I'd say we're really diving back into YouTube right now. And it's going to be a critical part of this company we're building. So I'm going to say, oh my God, I don't even know if there's a time I'm going to stop.
Retirement?
Yeah, when do I stop YouTube?
But I'm saying like maybe retirement. When you're done.
Oh my God. Can you imagine I'm like 60 years old and still is YouTube even going to be around in 60 years? I don't know. I don't know if you can put a date on this.
I don't think you can.
My answer would be like, not for at least the next 7 years, I think. That's actually a long time. It could be gone by then. I don't know.
2027.
2027.
Hello, future Matt.
I will be 34. 34. I think when I start to get mid 30s, I think my life's gonna start changing. I think at that point we'll probably be considering, or maybe even have kids at that point.
Damn.
And that changes. I don't know if our part of our business is YouTube.
Yeah.
Then we'll still be doing it.
Yeah.
But doing it like we're doing now, probably within, I think it's going to be years before I stop. But then again, who knows? I mean, what if tomorrow YouTube just doesn't exist anymore and there's something new and bigger and better, and that's that? I don't know. Unlikely. What about you?
I think that's a very, I knew for you it was going to be way further than me, I think. I don't think.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it sounds
really.
It's kind of scary. I don't know. 7 years is a long fucking time.
Yeah, a lot can happen in 7 years.
Yeah, like what if something big happens and changes everything? Like it could be 1 year. I don't know.
Here's the thing for me. I think, oh man, really getting into some.
Oh, this is deeper for you than it is for me.
It is, not including this podcast. Just not including this. This is very different. This doesn't feel like YouTube or Twitch to me. This feels like just us chilling, chatting, right? So let's just get that out of the question. Let's think about YouTube. YouTube for me, bro, I wanted to quit last year.
See ya.
I wanted to quit last year, but it's weird. I think that I always will have an affinity of making like some sort of video or just putting my life out there and like maybe a vlog or maybe like something that's going on.
Yeah.
But I think I'm already on the out. As crazy as that sounds. As much as we're doing this podcast and stuff, YouTube wise, as like making YouTube videos, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does fit in. But the thing that I really like doing is, we're gonna have to talk about this at some point, but it still hasn't been, I still haven't made any sort of public thing about it, but I do have a day job working in the gaming industry, right? And that's something I've been doing for a bit now. And I know just from already what I'm doing, I love it a lot. And there's stability in it. It doesn't feel as stressful as, maybe I'm wrong, give it time, I guess, but it doesn't feel as stressful of the, oh man, I got to really figure out what I'm going to do here or like views dropped or whatever.
Right.
But I basically, I've been my own boss for a very, very long time with this stuff. I see myself still like streaming and like when I want to, and just having some fun there, and maybe making videos here or there with my friends, like when I want to. And I can see that going on for quite a bit. Maybe like, I don't want to, it's hard to put a time thing on it. But
it is. Then it's like, oh, you're going to be done at this date and time.
I can see that for like years. Yeah. I'd say for a couple of years or more of doing that. But in terms of this is my job, I'm already on the out, fam. Like there's no part of my day right now, like this week, there is no moment where I thought about YouTube. Like, honestly, in terms of I need to get a video out. There's one moment I recorded a video with Chop when he was here, and I really want to get that out because that was really cool. But other than that, I'm not really in that zone as much. Like, as much as we talked about, we had the other episode where we talked about like regrets and Fortnite and all that kind of stuff. But there is, I don't know. I just don't feel like that's where I'm going. It sounds so weird. It sounds so depressing. I'm sorry, guys.
They need to know. They need more information about what you're doing now. It'll come in time. But
here's the thing. I think people will have that realization with my stuff very, very sooner than you think. Because there's no way in hell that you guys are not going to know what I'm doing. Like, it's not going to be like 2025 and you guys are not going to know what I'm doing, right? It's going to happen.
Still working that day job. And,
still working that day job. Can't tell you guys what it is.
Can't tell you what it is yet, but I'm still here.
But I mean, it's just, and I can't even say why I can't say, but I've had a lot of like really just, it feels really fulfilling already doing that. So in terms of like doing YouTube and all that kind of stuff, I feel like I already kind of got away from it with Twitch. And I think Twitch has felt more like a hobby recently, which I really, really like.
That's great. So
Twitch feels like more like a hobby to me. Neither of them feel like a job to me that much anymore. And that's really that's that. I think I'm already kind of on the out of that.
Kind of walking out the door already a little bit.
Yeah. And I think a podcast is different too. Podcast doesn't feel like YouTube to me. I mean, it is. Like, it is. We're on like a joint channel.
Yeah.
But it's very different from, hi, what's my brand JC on YouTube? And how does that work, right?
Yeah.
It's very different. But the thing that I really like, here, I'll end it this way because I know we got to get going. But the thing I'll say with this is what I am doing with my day job, it's not a complete 180 from not doing stuff like this. I have to be, I'm in the gaming space. You guys are going to see me, I'm sure, as long as I can help it, like on social media, on everything, all that kind of stuff. It's not like I'm going to work,
going into like a hermit.
Yeah, it's not like I'm like disappearing
from the internet.
It's in a lot of ways. You guys know I can't code. Everybody knows I can't code. So my job is somewhere in the realm of like being active.
You're like guiding them to like use context clues here, guys. You think about this a little bit.
People know they know the job is going to be something around the realm of social media and all that kind of stuff, right? You just know. So that aspect of it is not going to go away. But I think in terms of like the JC brand, that might not be this thing that I'm like putting my heart and soul into as much, because I think honestly we accomplished a lot already and I'm kind of proud of it.
You have.
That's it though.
There you go, man.
That's pretty dark.
That's a deep answer.
Hopefully that's not sad for people.
Simple question, deep answer.
Wish I could say what I'm doing.
I think the overarching, you will be able to soon. I think the overarching theme on that one is that who knows? Like, you can't predict the future and we can try to plan for it as much as possible, but only time will tell.
I think if there's anything, I want to just do videos where we're all just chilling, having fun, playing something, right?
At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, man.
I want to do stuff like that, but I don't want any sort of like F it. If it doesn't get views, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not.
It's not like a task or a job or a necessity anymore. It's just
I
doing it because we're doing it for fun.
I think that channel's never going to go away. I don't think.
No, probably not.
And there will be some things that will always be added to it.
Things you care about that come out along the way.
Yeah, but that's that.
Awesome, man. Well, it was been another great podcast. Hopefully you guys did enjoy.
I can tell you're so tired.
I am gassed. I am absolutely. You want to hear what happened today, dude? I woke up this morning. I played like 2 hours of football. Then I drove down to the beach and played like 12 games of pickleball in a row. Then I drove back up here and sat here for about 3 hours of the podcast with you. And it's been freaking amazing. He's going to leave me hanging and watch this.
Oh, it's my bad.
There it is.
I was looking at the time.
And it's, what is it? 1 a.m.? Yeah, it's 1 a.m.
Damn, bro.
I'm gassed. This was a great episode. I had a lot of fun talking about our shows.
I can talk about TV.
Oh, anytime. I know. You could talk about them. We could talk about this all day.
You could take any one of these TV shows that we talked about and we could talk about the entire time. Yeah.
And I think you guys are definitely going to hit that up in the comments. So leave your favorite show, leave your worst show, thoughts about the shows we talked about, and see you guys all next week.
Goodbye. Love you. watch Lost. Or don't, actually. Do what you want.